I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Representative Andy Biggs held a telephone town hall on Tuesday. At the beginning of the town hall, Biggs addressed the baby formula shortage the U.S. is currently facing. The crisis was spurred by COVID-related supply chain issues and a recall of Abbott baby formula. The Arizona Republican voted against two bills on the shortage. Listen in as he explains why.
We're doing something a little bit different with this one. We're using the traditional telephone way, but we're also doing a Facebook live stream. So if you want to get to the live stream and see this, you can go to facebook.com/rep Andy Biggs, and that would be great. If not, you can just stay online and do the normal um, phone method. So if you want to get on in the line and ask a question tonight, please press *3. That'll put you in the line. Someone from my team will get you placed there. And then if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, if you hit *6, and if you want to disconnect and leave a voicemail, you can press *9. If you want to follow me on social media, you can go to my Twitter at Rep Andy Biggs AZ. Instagram is at Rep Andy Biggs. Facebook is Congressman Andy Biggs. And our new method is Truth Social at Rep Andy Biggs AZ. My official congressional website is biggs.house.gov. You can reach my Mesa office at 480-699-8239. My DC office is 202-225-2635. And the call-in number tonight for our town hall is 833-305-697. And the easiest way is to press *3. That is the easiest way to ask a question. So I'll just open it up with talking about a few different little things, and some very important things as well. First of all, yesterday was Memorial Day, and I want to acknowledge several of my friends, and when we think about Memorial Day, so some of these heroes, I think of one who was a prisoner of war for 7 years in Hanoi, and that's my friend Larry Lucky Chesley, who lived and it was able to come back and was an incredibly productive member of our community in the Southeast Valley for a long, long time. And he passed away not too very long ago, but we miss him very much. And also, I want to acknowledge Staff Sergeant Alexander Conrad, also from Arizona, from the Chandler area. Staff Sergeant Conrad was a native of Chandler, and he served in the U.S. Army. He was killed in Somalia in 2018. Recently, I was able to attend the official renaming ceremony for the VA clinic, which is in Gilbert, following the enactment of legislation that I sponsored to rename the facility the Staff Sergeant Alexander W. Conrad Veterans Affairs Healthcare Clinic. Naming that facility after Staff Sergeant Conrad will help us always to remember his sacrifice, but not just his sacrifice. I hope that we always remember all of the sacrifices that were the final due of these great men and women, soldiers who defended our freedom in hostilities and wars, but also their families that sacrificed so these individuals could serve, and those who paid the full measure. And we thank them and reverence them. The deliberate attack of malice and hatred in Uvalde, Texas, is unbelievable. It's something that will not leave our hearts and our minds. We grieve and mourn with those families, the friends, the community of Uvalde. I mourn with the law enforcement and also with the Border Patrol who was there, the U.S. Marshals. I had a chance to talk to a number of people this past week after that horrific event. And for me, this is more than a tragedy. For me, a tragedy is something that it would be like a natural disaster and someone is harmed, or a terrible accident. This was not an accident, and this was not. This was horrific. This was deliberate. It was malicious. It was hateful. It was evil on the part of this young man. And I view this as a huge societal problem. And in meeting with the chief of Border Patrol last week, Chief Ortiz, I will tell you that I'm anxious to see the outcome of the investigation that's going to be done here, and we'll find out more about this. But hopefully, we can learn from this and see if we can, as a society, improve so we don't have these problems in the back. Local jurisdictions, we want to support them in providing arm protectors for those who are the most vulnerable. We also have the baby formula crisis. Congress passed a couple of bills a week or so ago that did not hit the target, and I voted against those two bills. It is as if someone is washing their car instead of filling the gas tank and then wonders why his car won't run. So we still have this crisis. And one bill allocated $28 million to the FDA, most of which goes to hire new bureaucrats or increase salaries for that agency. And it's hard for me to see, and it was hard to understand how people thought that focusing on salaries and expenses of FDA would do anything to alleviate the baby formula shortage. And so I voted no on that bill. The second bill, HR 7791, actually provided flexibility for WIC participants, but did nothing to increase the supply of formula. So the way to think of it is you actually had the federal government allowing people who are beneficiaries of a federal program to actually go out and expand and take over other parts of the market. And so it would make it difficult for non-WIC participants, which is about even 50-50 in the baby formula market. They would have a future shortage. They would have a harder time getting the formula. The bills did not facilitate importation of the raw materials to make more formula from safe or bring in safe foreign products from safe nations. The bill did nothing, in my opinion, to actually solve the crisis, which is why we still have the crisis and why now they're trying to find other ways and avenues to solve the crisis. To solve the formula shortage, Congress should have directed the Biden regime to, one, facilitate immediate reopening of the closed Abbott manufacturing facility in Michigan. Number two, obtain interim needs from overseas manufacturers. And three, incentivize domestic production. Right now, and south of the border, they don't have a shortage of baby formula, but we do. I've co-sponsored legislation with Representative Mark Green that actually would address the issue. His bill is the Baby Formula Emergency Act. And what that does, it allows for duty-free importation of infant formula. We have some markets that have safe formula. We can test it to make sure it's safe. But we're imposing 17.5% to 20% tariffs on that product. We should have taken that off. That was one of my problems with the two bills. They weren't going to solve this problem. I think this bill actually makes a difference. And I co-sponsored the bill, and I'm hoping that Speaker Pelosi brings it to the floor next week when we're back in session. Again, if you want to ask me a question, please press *3, and you'll get placed into the queue. If you want to disconnect and leave a voicemail, press *9. I'm told that *6 is not working today. I'm sorry. That's so if you leave a message on *9, you could ask to subscribe to my newsletter, and we can try to get you on. Last week, I traveled to the border in two different locations. I was in Yuma, and I was also in the Del Rio sector, both in Del Rio and in Eagle Pass. Most of the folks that we were seeing were military-aged men from countries other than Mexico and the Northern Triangle states. So I hope some of you might have seen the video of when I was down in Yuma, where there's 150 to 200 people surrounding us. They were agitated because some of them said they had waited several days to be processed. Others said they had waited since 4 o'clock the day before, and others were trying to take cuts in line. The reason they want to get processed is because they know that they're going to be released into the country swiftly, and so they wanted to get processed. And the facility in Yuma has got about 4 or 5 times as many people as that facility is designed. Then in Eagle Pass, we came upon a couple of smaller groups, one group of 5 Nicaraguans. And as we interviewed them, I asked them what they knew about Title 42. And they said they did. They hadn't heard of Title 42. And we asked how they had heard. And the individual said, we heard about it on Nicaragua's Channel 10. in the news down in Nicaragua that Title 42 was going away. But it doesn't matter to Nicaragua because if you're from Nicaragua, we can't we don't send them back under Title 42. They just get released. I asked them where they were going. 3 said to Miami, 1 to Cincinnati, Ohio, and 1 more said to Houston. If Title 42 goes away, right now it's stayed. The court has said you can't get rid of it. But if it goes away, they're estimating 18,000 people a day minimum will be encountered at our border. So April was an all-time high, 235,000 illegal aliens encountered. What an encounter means, they've either surrendered or they were arrested. And in May, I expect those numbers to be even worse. The economy. And then again, if you want to get on the line, ask a question. I'm going to zip through this last part real quick. Please press *3. The economy is increased every month of Biden's presidency. Inflation has. We're at a 40-year high. Consumer price index reached 8.3% in April, and the Phoenix metro area has the highest inflation rate in the country at over 11%. You've seen it. You've felt it in the gas prices. And it's going to keep going. Another big issue in Arizona, always an issue in the western states, is water. And so earlier this month, I met with experts from the Arizona Department of Water Resources, Farm Bureau, Central Arizona Project, Pinal County Board of Supervisors, and I've also met with individuals from other states and talked about their water issues as well and how that affects our water issues. We discussed federal actions and potential legislation to make sure Arizona's water supply is plentiful for decades to come. And I appreciate those people came in, those experts who came in and shared what's happening. Last thing before we start taking calls, and I'll just remind you, press *3 to ask a question, is this. On Tuesday, June 21st, we'll be holding an off-campus, off-site hearing at the Heritage Foundation entitled Addressing Bidenflation and Biden's Energy Crisis. The hearing will take place at the Heritage Foundation in Washington, D.C. Members of the press will be there, and it will be live streamed on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. All of those are my pages. So Heritage, I think, is going to also live stream. Other places will live stream as well. The main objectives, we're going to discuss solutions and educate the public on how the Biden administration is wrecking this country's economy and imposing inflation upon us through its bad energy policies as well. We'll have renowned economist Stephen Moore, Kathleen Sagama, president of the Western Energy Alliance, and Michael Moore, an Arizona small business owner, will be at our witnesses at that hearing. Hope you can join us. And now